You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name's Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
Hope everybody is staying safe out there. The world is in the midst of a pandemic, officially.
Yeah.
But we're sitting around a tiny table
They haven't canceled podcasts yet.
within breathing distance of each other to bring you some entertainment in case you're locked up tight somewhere.
Boy, we could use that bunker right now.
I was thinking the same thing. If ever there was time to be hunkered in a bunker, it's right now.
All right. Who knows when this... Well, things could be totally changed by the
Right.
time we get a podcast out, so...
We hope the electric grid is still standing
Right.
Yes.
and that we're all okay.
The cell phone networks have not collapsed. So I'm sure that's what you're listening to.
Be smart, take precautions, and listen to podcasts.
Anybody that's underreacting, be cool with them. Anybody that's overreacting, be cool with them. Everybody does not know how to deal with this. So...
And don't share headphones.
Yeah, don't share headphones. Yeah. Like that two-headed monster, the dueling ogres.
Congratulations on 200, guys.
Yeah, about time.
They might have it
That's
by the
their
time
slogan. It's about time.
I remember when we recorded our 200th episode.
Do you? When the hell is
Oh,
that?
gosh.
Yeah, let's go in the Wayback Machine. So what's been going on, guys?
Well, a lot of stuff, but last night I was witness to something I hadn't seen before.
Oh,
Me and the family,
I've
or
seen
the
that.
family and I.
I've seen that. I passed you guys on the road the other day.
You did. It was we
I've seen it.
we were down at the old DG, and for those not in the Mid Ohio Valley, that is the Dollar General.
Oh,
We're out in the parking lot and walking down through the parking lot last night, and out of nowhere I hear what is unmistakably two cars smashing into each other.
okay. That's exciting.
Okay. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It was loud. It wasn't
Yeah.
like just a small fender
I've
bender.
seen that a few times.
Yeah, it created a
Ruckus is what you're
Yes.
looking for. Could you describe the ruckus?
Well, we heard the big smash immediately as we're walking. We all turn over, and it's a couple rows over, parking rows over, and I hear scream from an adult male.
Ooh.
What the hell are you even doing behind the wheel of a car?
That sounds about right.
And I was like,
A
whoa.
male screaming that? Yes. Okay.
I was like, whoa. So we kind of scurried up a little bit so we could see over to where it was.
That sounds like the Barnes family.
Yeah. We're like, what's happening?
Let's scurry over there.
Get the gimbal quick.
Exactly.
We get this from any angle.
That's right.
So, excuse us, we have a fast pass. You're like working through the crowd.
And so we peeking over there, and I see the door open, and this like 7-year-old little boy gets out.
What?
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what is happening right now? And like you could tell he is like drunk as
No.
that boy probably needed to check his shorts a little bit because he knew immediately he was in for it.
Wow.
So
What?
the other guy, the car, one car is parked. It's in the between the yellow lines.
Yeah.
And the car the little boy was in had backed into it. I mean, just hard.
Right? Hard.
Hard.
Well, it's like...
And so I see the guy get out of his car, and he runs up and kind of like gets the boy out of the car, and like speedily headed into the Dollar General. So I was like, oh, somebody's mom is in there. So a few minutes later here, they all come back out, and his mother had left him in the car by himself. She had probably about a 2-year-old,
Right.
Holding their hand,
Working the pedals.
Yeah, and so she comes out with them. She was a winner. But yeah, the dude was super, super angry. Would not even. As we eventually pulled away, he was standing there with his arms crossed. Wouldn't even speak to the woman.
Like,
And,
was
Was it his car? The park car?
Did they
the park car was his.
Do they know each other? Or?
No, these are
okay.
just
Okay.
residents of the valley.
Okay.
And yeah, so anyways, it was just.
Sounds exciting.
It was exciting to see that little boy. If you could have seen him jump out of that car after that car crash, I was just like, oh, my Lord, somebody is going to jail right now.
Gee whiz. And my brother wrecked a car when he was 3.
Yeah. Well, this kid, I mean, he wasn't very old, but he was old enough to, he wasn't old enough to be left alone in the car,
Right.
but he was old enough to know not to be messing with stuff.
Yeah, my sister had drove her boyfriend's truck home the night before, and then Andy was 3, got up for Saturday morning cartoons, grabbed the keys, went out, got in this big truck, put it in gear, and backed into my parents' car outside in front of the house. We're like, okay.
Yeah, I apparently, this is before I had memory of it, but I apparently kicked the truck into gear at some point, like unloading groceries or something.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting in the cab, and it started rolling toward a very large hill.
Well, yeah.
Now, why do you let me go second when you have an anecdote like that?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be that great.
That's a
never knew-
showstopper. That's a
never
pull
knew
the
the
curtain
reaction.
after that.
I gotta follow that. Well, I sent you guys some screenshots from my childhood closet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was really hoping to walk in here tonight and there would be like boxes of toys laying around for me to play with. I'm a little disappointed.
So I, as we all did, had a lot of toys as a kid growing up in those halcyon days of the 1980s. And I still have a ton of them. And I'm not a huge collector. I'm never going to display them somewhere, or I'm not going to, they're not in mint condition. They're not worth a ton of money.
They're played with.
Yeah, very well played with. So I thought they've just been there forever. And I'm trying to make comics. Like, I want to make my own comics. So, like, I need money for that. So I thought, hey, if I could sell some of these toys as a young Jordan would appreciate what old man Jordan is trying to do, making his own comic books. So I thought that was a worthy thing to sell them for. So I spent an entire Sunday digging out of this closet. So found some G.I. Joe stuff, some He-Man stuff, some Ninja Turtle stuff, Thundercat stuff, and then just some random things I had over the years. So I couldn't bear to part with everything. It wasn't like a house cleaning, everything must go sale. But I went through a lot of the vehicles and the play sets and the things, the figures, that'll be tough. If I ever do get rid of all the figures, that'll be tougher. But the Jeeps and the boats and the stuff that are taking up the most room, I said, I'm never going to display or whatever.
Right.
So I kind of dug through and got rid of all that I could and tried to match up what missile went to what plane. And that's like, I'm just going to dump all this stuff in a box. I don't remember all this stuff. But contacted friend of the show, actually, from Comics and Kicks in St. Mary's, West Virginia, Daniel and Morgan. They were on one time. We did the trivia at Asylum.
I remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a cool shop with vintage stuff in it. So he took a look at it. They took it off my hand. So it's out there, St. Mary's, West Virginia. It's going to find a good home.
Cool.
So you might have a piece of my childhood
Wow.
headed your way.
Unburied toys.
Right. And he actually was going through it, and he's like, these are in better shape than most toys I see from this era. I was like, yeah, being OCD since you're 5 is quite a good thing.
Oh, don't think I didn't spot that troop transport in there.
That one I didn't get rid of. We only had a tiny bit of the Star Wars stuff got sold at a yard sale years ago.
Yeah.
For pennies on the dollar, but I had a handful of Star Wars stuff. But then the weekend after that, so one Sunday I spent digging through a closet. The next Sunday I went to the Classic Plastics Toy Expo in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It's the one they have at the Art Center every year. It's a fundraiser for the Art Center. They had downtown. It was Savor Saturday. You get all the restaurants and make a day of
cool.
eating at the downtown restaurants. Fun time, like usual. Tons and tons of vintage stuff.
I really wanted to go, but I had to work this weekend and I sleep in the day.
I really wanted to go also.
I think that happened to me last year.
Yeah.
The last time I went, a couple years ago, I had a great time. I got like
a bunch.
I got me a good comic and stuff. And
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find there. A few friends of the show saw down there. Terry W. Irvin, second author of many fine sci-fi and fantasy books. Russ Cassidy, who's been a guest on here before. Artist was selling his prints. Saw Corbin, remember the mystical intern?
Oh, yeah. How could we ever forget?
How's he doing? if that kid does, if that's not his Twitter handle, he's doing something wrong.
Seriously.
He hangs.
That's a good name.
Yeah,
CO Creations is his company. They do pillows and buttons and magnets and pins and all kind of like
Corbin,
nerdy
just
stuff.
a piece of advice if you ever listen to this. Mystical Intern,
Yes.
LLC.
Live it.
We're telling you right now.
That's a great name.
And with your help, we'll get that chicken. And ran into Bucky as well. Our pal Bucky was down there. I didn't spend a ton of time. I took my nephews. They each had $25 in discretionary spending.
Ooh.
And the youngest one, the oldest one's kind of over it a little bit. Like, he found a few comics that he wanted. And it was cool. He had, like, a preference. Like, he saw these detective comics from the early 90s. Like, oh, those are my favorite. I like the detective ones. They have better stories than the Batman. I was like, wow. Okay. Like, you can differentiate eras of Batman. Right. Like, I'm so proud. The youngest one was looking at Hero Clicks. He was looking at quarter bin comics. I was like, well, we'll make a whole loop around on a hurry. Like, look all around, see what you want. So we got to one of the pop, and he's a pop fan too, the pop Funko vinyls.
Yeah.
He looked at a bunch of them, and there were some that were more collectible and more expensive, and there were some that were more cheap.
Yeah.
He saw a bunch that he liked until we got to the table. It had I don't know what the term is, but it had two pops on one base. Stranger Things, Steve fighting the Demodog. And Steve had the spiked bat, and his jaw dropped.
Wow. I've never seen that.
And his older brother was holding the money. He's like, I need the money. He's like,
right.
I need the money right now.
And the 15-year-old's like, now are you sure?
I've never been so sure.
He's like, I need the money right now. It was $24.99. He was right there. And he's like, no, you could get a bunch of, you get a whole stack of comics for that at the quarter. I'm getting this. This is what I'm getting right now.
Sometimes you just know.
Steve is his favorite character.
Runs in the family.
Yeah. And the guy gave him a deal. He said, I'll just take 20 for it. So he was able to get some comics as well. So thank you to that vendor. I picked up a few books, just a stack of stuff. There's a 50-cent bin, a quarter bin.
That's a big stack of stuff.
Picked up some random stuff. I flipped. A guy just the week before had spent $50 on Spawn back issues at the store.
Right.
So I took his $50 and turned that into 2 big bags of comics. So I'm just gonna keep flipping, flipping those books till eventually I turn some kind of profit. And picked up it was Time Warp Toys. They have a booth at Rinks. I picked up a Death action figure from the Sandman universe.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
It was DC Direct, back in the early 2000s, late 90s. So I have the Sandman one somewhere. I haven't gotten. So I'd never seen the Death one before. So ooh, that will pair nicely. Yeah. And I hadn't spent a whole lot of money anywhere else. So I was like, I'm just gonna treat myself.
I like it. I really wish I could have went. Hopefully, it falls on the correct weekend next year. They quit screwing.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not sitting in a gym watching 12-year-old volleyball. I was texting with Russ.
Cross your fingers, maybe it'll still be a pandemic next year. They'll cancel volleyball, but leave the plastics full.
Yeah, the show.
The show just got in under the wire. Everything after this has been canceled.
Right. I saw that they have a new location in the mall and stuff, right?
Yeah, they had to move right before Christmas. They got kicked out of their original location, had to move into a tiny location, but now they're in their more permanent spot.
And it's bigger than ever.
It's big. That has room for all their video games in the back. So they had to have all their video games out in the center of the mall. I think it's right next to Spencer's Gifts. I think, our mall,
which is a good location.
I haven't been there yet, but looks good.
Yeah, having
look
Spencer's
nice and roomy.
Spencer's right there, big store, and then like Hot Topic is right there too. So
get your Dale, play a
that's
video
it,
game,
man.
Go in Spencer's, get a poster. All right. Okay, so it's time to do it up. You down with KPP?
Yeah, you know me.
What the hell is wrong with you people? You know me.
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
You know me.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
You know me.
You don't know how it feels to be me. You don't know me by now.
Why are you the way that you are?
So we asked on our Patron Facebook page, I believe it's where we asked it, for for some questions for You Know Me. We're running out of questions. And Patron Justin Lowe, silver level, he gave us a whole list, but you had me at hello, Justin. Your first question.
I'm not sure this is a great idea. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They hate this. They hate that I just said we're doing this. His first question, favorite patron.
I feel like that was a joke. I feel like
No.
that was a joking
No.
warm-up
I
to his
said-
many other better questions.
I said, let's do this. So I'd like to spend the next 4 hours. No. But let's list their pros and cons. Favorite patron. Okay.
well,
Now,
actually, that story about me kicking the truck into gear,
yeah.
Justin, I think saved my life. So, I mean,
Saved your life.
from a young age.
Yeah. Start writing these down. Saved your life.
I may not be here physically
Okay.
had he
That's
not
pretty
saved my
good.
life there. Yeah.
Pretty good. Didn't say my life. But, okay, so we've got 3 patrons. We got Justin, Christian, and
Jesse.
the OGJ, the original Jesse. I mean, good luck. Okay, so I got bald face. We got to go with what's the most obvious thing. Our fans are called Jessies. Well, I don't like to say fans. Our listeners, anyone who has any interest in paying any attention to us, Jessies. Okay, so that's about level with saving your life. I think. So
Yeah, Jesse's been here since day one.
right, day one.
If we want to be honest, it was like pulling teeth to get Justin to even listen.
Okay,
It took him a while.
okay.
Yeah.
I think he had to figure out we weren't just fly by night.
So he was probably like regretting
Yeah.
the whole saving your life thing.
And the only reason he probably even started was because we had Jared on a few times.
Could be.
And
Could be.
then,
Right.
But Jared is not ponied up to be a patron.
No.
So.
no,
So-
we're not. Mm-mm.
He can't be in this conversation.
But you could be $1 a month gets you access to
To be-
patron-only audio.
to be built up and torn
And-
down.
Other podcasts celebrate their patrons. We're going to tear you to bits.
I suggested that we break them into their separate parts and build the ultimate fan, which would be a Jesse. I still think that's a lot to go in there. So what else? We've had each of them. Not Christian, but I don't know Chris. We've had the other 2 each for a guest. But I believe Christian patronizes your store.
Yeah, he is a pull customer at Asylum Comics.
I have
Is a big Spider-Man fan, so I'm on board with that.
That's good.
That's strike one right
taste.
there.
That's a strike
That's
for
taste.
Cliff.
Cliff doesn't like that. That's like Odin and a Lady Thor. They don't go together. But
But he had seniority at Schwann's on Michael
so he's in charge of the push-ups.
by a few months. So I'm assuming he's got hot and cold running push-ups.
Right.
He could hook
That's
us
pretty
up
good. We could always use some push-ups. So okay, so we got plenty of positives here about Christian also. Jesse and Justin have both been guests on the show and have contributed. Jesse yearly comes and does the trivia knowledge of comic books, I believe.
wizard.
But is welcome anytime. Like,
he
doesn't have to wait
other
a year.
times. But
Yeah.
that's one reason we always make sure we get him in here for that. That's coming up again. The years are rolling by, guys. Every time I think we get finished with one of those quizzes, it's time to do it again. Let's see what we got. Justin has come, been our like Stephen King expert. He has. This is a big one. The board that we're running this podcast through is a gift from Patron Justin. And that was no cheap deal.
The silent mouse.
The silent mouse. Do you know that mouse you don't hear? You know who pays for that silence? Justin.
Do you remember how you used to be able to hear it? Every click.
Yeah.
Was
Remember you
very
heard
loud.
that and you almost died from it? Justin saved your life too.
Yeah.
Jesse has played in my Dragon Age group. He has come and been a part of that till I had him kidnapped, and he has been back for a year and a half. But they're looking for you, Jess. He's
Clint
Clattenburg.
Clint Clattenburg.
famously Clint Clattenburg.
The ancient tales, a tale of one Klimt Clattenburg.
Also, Jesse has his own podcast.
Yeah, that's a detriment.
we have
that's a strike against.
Okay.
He's got another podcast, rival podcast.
That's true. His loyalty is divided with his own podcast.
We can't be having that. That's one. So good for Justin. Has not started his own podcast. Let's see. What else you guys got? They're unwilling to offer anything. I'm trying like hell here. Let's see.
Now, I think... no. I was going to say, I think Justin he's one of the very few people we've ever had on to contribute to a special episode.
True. Wait, what was that?
He did the top 10 animated movies.
Oh.
He did do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what Jesse
did.
He was here for something.
We did the 25 comic movies.
Yeah, he was there for that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
ranked all the modern
Yeah,
comic
was that-
movies, I think.
Was he there for that? In the
Yeah,
bunker?
because Jared...
I know Jared hosted it.
Jared did it and did all the math.
Yeah,
and-
Jesse was there. Mhm.
Yeah.
See, well, they're even there.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna have to vote, like we do. Well,
I think it's a
let's see.
3-way tie, and we need a fourth patron to really break the tie.
Ooh,
so we
fourth
need
patron.
We need another listener out there to help patronize us.
No, I say we vote for real. Let's put somebody at the top, rank them from worst to first. I just like making these guys nervous. They're shivering in their shoes.
Play the TV drum. Let's go.
We'll vote at the end.
Oh, good Lord.
What the hell is a sticky maple?
Run, Barry, run! That's what I do. I dream, and I know things.
Go get him, Supergirl.
Well, what this guy look like, anyway?
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Uh-huh. In what way?
Oh, just in a general kind of way.
Exterminate!
Little pig, let me in.
These violent delights have violent ends.
That's what she said.
You had me all messed up. I played the old one.
Yeah,
We're
that's all right.
shook. We don't even know what we're doing.
All right, get a little new flavor.
We did a whole episode just about TV very recently, and I feel
Very.
like there's so much more to talk about.
That's pretty much all there is now. We cancel everything else. So
Let me burn through a couple real quick
Yeah.
things that have just premiered.
okay,
I'll do a speed round here.
go.
These
So far, nothing.
first couple of comedies. Duncanville premiered on Fox right after The Simpsons. This is
Animated.
the new animated one. So between Simpsons and Bob's Burgers, it's a pretty good time slot if you want to launch a new animated comedy. This is the one created by Amy Poehler, and she does the voice. Duncan is like the teenage son, so she does the voice of the mom and also Duncan. So it's like the, geez, mom, what are you gonna do? You know, she
Right.
changed. She does her normal voice basically for the mom, Also the teen son. Ty Burrell is the dad from Modern Family. Ricky Lindholm is the older teen sister, who's a very funny comedian. Rashida Jones does a voice. Wiz Khalifa does a voice. I watched the first couple. It's worth a watch. I didn't love it, but I don't know that I would set my DVR for it or anything.
Okay.
Comedy Central has Nora from Queens.
Hey, Nora.
Man, your parents got you on trash duty too?
Aren't you like 27?
You need help buying liquor?
No.
Oh. What happened? I live with my parents.
Grandma loves Nora.
Oh!
I wish I had purpose like you dumb.
Hey, boy. We need to find you a job.
Pull over now or I'm calling the cops.
Surprise, but have a good one.
Oh my God! I gotta get out of here. I need my social security number. Do you have it?
You don't know your own social security number?
A lot of people don't know their social security numbers. And if I can make it work, anyone can make it work. I would love to cash this check here.
I want crispy bills, none of that wrinkly that you pull out of your ass. Pleasure doing business with you.
You're not supposed to kill the villagers. They're peaceful people.
I love killing. Die, mother.
This is the Aquafina show.
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone check that out?
No.
No. We know who Aquafina is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great in The Farewell.
I don't think I've seen her in anything.
The Farewell. Watch The Farewell.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
It's on Prime, I think.
But you know who she...
Yeah, I know who she... Like, hosting Saturday Night Live, like, doing talk shows and things. That's the only thing I know her from. But her comedic delivery is wonderful. She just has a way of speaking that's just funny. Just the way she delivers lines of dialogue. And she has a weird, like, exasperated... Like, she gets like, worked up and, like, talks really fast. Like, come on, what's going on? B.D. Wong is her dad in this. And Bowen Yang, one of the new cast members from Saturday Night Live, is her cousin, I believe. The star of the show is her grandma, which they all live together in the same house. The actress is Lori Tan Chin, who I guess is best known from Orange is the New Black. She played Mi Chang.
Yep.
And just an adorable, cute old lady, but is the funniest thing on this show. Just, they give her they give her dialogue that, inappropriate or like you think maybe she's not paying attention, but she's the sharpest one in the room, that kind of thing. So she is stealing the show on all these, but it's basically it's kind of slice of life comedy from a millennial perspective. So she's 25, 26 years old, still living at home. The dad, the mom's not in the picture anymore, so the dad and his daughter are all living with grandma. So it's this odd kind of modern family, if you will.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed it. There's been 8 or 10 episodes so far, and it's been pretty strong. FX debuted Breeders.
Oh, yes.
Mondays at 10 p.m. This is a British cast. I'm not sure if it originally premiered in Britain or what the story was, but it's Martin Freeman from the original British Office.
Black Panther.
Many other things.
Yeah.
And his
Bilbo Baggins.
Right. Oh, yeah. Something.
Right.
The most popular thing ever.
Most popular. Also that.
And his wife is an actress named Daisy Haggard, much more famous in England as a comedian. I'd never seen her in anything. It's again another family comedy, but like in a very R-rated way. Mm-hmm. The way Martin Freeman normally plays the nice guy, but he's like he just snaps and yells at his children through the whole thing and like curses at them, but in an endearingly sort of funny way.
I couldn't get through it.
No,
I tried that first episode and like halfway, and I was just like, we were just beside ourselves in boredom, and I was like, I'm turning this off.
The first one was a weird because it's like the kids won't sleep.
Yeah,
so it was a weird place to start, where like the family they don't really interact very much, and they're very exasperated. Like the other episodes I've watched have been better.
What's this one?
It's on FX.
Okay.
I think there's been maybe 3 so far as of this recording. It had Michael McKeon.
Oh yeah.
Plays her father as kind of
Lenny,
a lazy, roustabout kind of guy. Another British show on IFC, originated on Channel 4 on the BBC, and now IFC is playing it, Year of the Rabbit. This is Matt Berry, who was on the vampire show, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
He has a deep voice, the very theatrical voice. So this is a Victorian police drama where he's a London copper around the era of Jack the Ripper, basically. But it reminded me a lot of Miracle Workers we were talking about on TBS. Like all the humor, they talk in a very modern way. Yeah. It's completely anachronistic. Like there's references and things that don't make any sense. But it's really dark and really funny. He is terrific in the role as just the rough cop who drinks and beats up suspects and that sort of. There's no accountability. It's it's before.
I love the way they do that though in like Miracle Workers. That I think the last episode I saw where they're on the roof and the girl that had joined the convent or whatever sitting there and she's not paying attention. She's like, "Are you really praying on your rosary right now?" I was like, it's so good the way they do that.
Yeah, a lot of that kind of humor. And like he's friends with the Elephant Man. There's been Jack the Ripper references. So it's like it's the pop culture of Victorian England, basically. Yeah. But actually the same actor is on both those shows. The guy who plays, he was Mornay in Braveheart is the only thing I know him from. One of the lords from Braveheart. He is Martin Freeman's dad in Breeders, and he's the chief of police in Year of the Rabbit. I'm like, I've not seen that guy since Braveheart, and now I'm watching him twice a week on 2 different shows. Then the other one had a little more fanfare. AMC Dispatches from Elsewhere.
I have watched this, so you finally mentioned what I've seen. Yeah,
this is Jason Segel. He's the creator. He wrote the first couple episodes, even directed the first one.
Oh. Yeah, I saw when I was watching the third one yesterday that he had created it. It's very Lodge 49. If you watched Lodge 49, any of the tens of people that watched that, it's very people living in the world, but there's just below the surface there's all the the secret things going on. I feel like this has been done.
Well, it's based on a documentary.
Okay.
2013, there was a documentary, The Institute, which is the story of the Jejune Institute. Wikipedia called it an alternate reality game set in San Francisco. So there's an artist from Oakland named Jeff Hull in 2008 created a real world
augmented reality type thing. I like that's what it feels like.
So over the course of 3 years, more than 10,000 players
participated. That idea.
That he put flyers up all over San Francisco that were just odd and eccentric, and people just bought into it and just kind of went on missions and went and participated. So the show, from what I've seen, seems a little more magical or mystical.
Oh, Jason Segel.
Yes. Yeah.
He said Seagal.
Okay, I was like, who is he talking about? Okay.
How I Met Your Mother or whatever. Jeffrey Lives at Home, which has a little bit of feel of that because that movie was all like, the signs are pointing to this. You do it, it also has a little feel of The Game, where you're like, this is all constructed for you, I like it. It's I don't like when they get when there's too much weird stuff and it's never explained or anything. That kind of stuff bugs me. But I got the vibe you were kind of very skeptical of what you've seen so far.
Like the first 2 minutes, I was like, "Whoa, I'm so into this." It was Richard E. Grant as the narrator.
Yeah, he's great.
Basically says, we're going to skip a lot of this.
Yeah.
You understand. This is about you. I'm like, oh, this is about me.
I love it.
And then then the first whole hour, I'm like, I wasn't buying the reality of it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of ended in a very circular way. It's like, no, this story's about her. Who is you. It's like, whoa, what? So I like the second episode a lot more. I haven't watched the third one.
What is that actress's name? I've never seen her before.
Eve Lindley.
Right. She's great. It also has Sally Fields in it, which is she's great. And Andre 3000.
Andre 3000.
What more do you want? I don't know what more you're looking for in a cast.
Watching it, I thought if this premiered 5 years ago, it might be my favorite show.
Yeah.
But I said, right now, there's so much to watch. I'm like, this better get good real quick. I'm losing patience with it.
Well, you said you watched 2 episodes, and I have seen 3. You should watch the 3rd one, because I was feeling the same way, and I thought the only reason I even made sure I watched it because I knew you were watching it. I thought that we had like this secret pact that we were both going to watch the show. Anyway, so I watched the 3rd episode, and they did like something that's right up my alley as far, and it's Sally Fields. This is her episode, and so I think if you watch that, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm in for another one. I want to see where they go, because I liked the feel of it. One thing I want to ask, because I hate when something plays a song or a piece of music in it, and I can't find out what it is. I freaking hate that. We'll be watching something, and I can say, Siri, what song is this, and play it. But they were talking over it the whole time. There was always noise, and it's a piece of piano music. And I'm gonna whistle just the little bit and see if anybody. Has anything.
I think it was Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it was. I think it went. Sorry, I gotta wet my whistle. It was just, it goes on like that. I've heard it all the time lately, I feel like. I know I don't have much of a piece of it they talked over it the whole time, but it's really set the mood of what was going on with her and all this is you, and they go through, it was an excellent episode, and I think it could get really good. So far so good for me with that. It's getting better as we watch it. What's the or something? Did you watch anything else?
Those are all the new ones.
I can't believe that I didn't bring this show up yet. That it's the number one show Nick and I are watching together. This is the first one. Is there a new episode of this? Is there a new episode yet, Dad? Lego Masters.
Get ready for the greatest competition ever built.
You've been chosen because you're the best of the best. And I've been chosen because I'm Batman. Your next challenge is Dream Park Theme Park.
We're about to bring something you've never seen before.
No. Wow. Holy brick.
Lego Masters, a new series being built February 5th on Fox.
Oh.
Have you watched any of that?
I've tuned in a few minutes just to see what's going on.
No,
you're not a Lego guy. You didn't play with Legos.
No, my kids didn't either.
Yeah. Well, I love Legos. I would build a set right now. Nick's ordered some. He's just wanting to build again. Well, I grew up. I played Legos constantly. I always was building stuff, and Nick was the same way. Tons of Legos. And
yeah, I found a bunch in the closet.
Yeah,
when I dug through the closet, and I also, much proving my OCD, I kept every different set in a different piece of Tupperware.
Yeah,
so I didn't mix. I didn't mix sets together. I wanted to keep everything separate, and I put like a label on, like a "Hello, my name is" label on it. Yeah. Wrote down the set number and the name.
I think the happiest day of Nick's life was when we went to Disney in 2009 and walked into that Lego store down there.
Oh, yeah.
And saw the wall of Legos, and you could just buy each separate piece and fill a cup up for $15. I mean, just heaven for a 9-year-old kid. So anyway, this show is hosted by Will Arnett. It's on Fox. He's fine.
He was in the Batman Lego movie.
All right. That's why he's there. And he makes a lot of jokes about that. And he's funny here and there. There's a little bit too much reality show stuff here and there that is annoying. But overall, they collected I think 10 pairs of builders. And these people are all fantastic Lego builders. I just love the way they do the show. And each week, they build something else. Like the very first week was an amusement park. And they each took a square table that was like 2x2 or something, and they wheeled it over to their space, and they built a part of an amusement park and tried to be the most creative or whatever. And then at the end of like 15 hours or something, they put them all back together, and they've created this huge amusement park. It's amazing. And they're all great. So it's so fun to watch. I'm glad they didn't get a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. I'm surprised that the casting was really well done. There's some people that are just fantastic.
The judges are a little bit snooty.
Yes, they are Lego. They're the credentialed masters.
It's like a cooking show of like, oh, the spices are a little off. This is like, oh, the theming is quite. It's like it's Lego, dude.
Right,
Chill.
right. But they have to have something to judge them on because they're all great. I agree. They gave they have to get meticulous about things like that. But some of the category, one time they did like movie themes. You had to build like a theme of a monster movie or this or that, and then they'd add another theme later, and you only had so many hours to fix it to make it have something to do with that theme. So they've had clever ideas. We Love This Week currently was they had to build a bridge out of Legos that was so many feet across or whatever between these two stationary platforms. And whichever bridge held the most weight was, the winner. And along with it, also had to look cool. Nick did this as a science fair project so he was so excited about this. Like he did how much weight would this Lego bridge weigh, hold, and that 10 years ago. So he was like, I want to see what these people can do because Legos will hold a bunch of weight. And we were like, they are underestimating what could happen, and it went like that. I'm not going to spoil who wins or anything, but I'm going to tell you that they ran out of weights. It went insanely high amounts of weight. So I recommend watching that episode. It's probably episode 5 or so, somewhere about halfway through the season, that they are just like really showing how cool Legos are. And anyway, these people just really know what they're doing. It's fantastic if you've ever liked Legos because they're doing a great job.
We were talking about toys earlier. Do you guys you're probably a little bit too old. Did you have Constructs? Do you remember I had Constructs. I did not have Legos.
Those ones with like the gears and stuff?
Yeah,
like
they had like different sets and space and camo. And
I never had any.
They had.
Oh no, I've never.
That's what I had. I had Constructs. And I'd completely forgotten about that, and it just popped in my head as you were talking about building stuff out of Legos. Wow.
What have you been watching, Cliff?
Anybody else try that Outmatched show on NBC?
Nope. Was this one Justin told us not to watch, or was that The Indebted?
This is the one he said to stick with, and I couldn't get through 15 minutes of it.
No, I didn't watch
it. It was so bad. It was Jason Biggs from like American Pie.
Yeah.
And they have like 3 or 4 kids, and they're all geniuses, and the parents are like normal.
I think that's
people.
a Fox.
Fox, okay.
Fox, yeah.
Whatever it's on, it's a turd.
You heard it here. He just went down a notch. Jesse wins.
So I watched a lot of stuff I could not get through in the last couple of weeks.
I said we don't have time. There's no time to hope things get better, or well, if I stick with it, it's like sorry.
Anybody like Rob Riggle?
A little bit of him goes a long way, but
exactly.
He can be funny.
Yeah, he's got.
He's likable.
He's got a new show on Discovery called Rob Riggle: Global Investigator.
I saw the ads for that.
Yeah, I heard about it.
First episode, he's searching for Atlantis, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like I could watch a whole episode of that, and I think it was an hour long. But he travels to Greece and goes scuba diving.
I know where you heard about that.
Where?
The Office podcast, Office Ladies podcast.
Did I?
They were talking about Rob Riggle, but I didn't. Cruise, they talked about that.
Okay. So, but yeah, it was pretty good.
If by you the like way, Rob Riggle, little plug for the Office Ladies podcast. I remember saying I didn't like the first episode and was a little skeptical.
It's good.
I totally am turned around. They have tons of background information. They kept journals while they were filming, and a couple episodes ago, I shed tears.
Which one was it?
It's the one where they talked about it was the first Christmas party. It's what people consider the Christmas episode. It was about the first Christmas party, and when they did the Yankee swap, and the whole thing with the teapot and the note that he put in it, and they're like talking about what it said, and she's telling what it said, what happened, and it's a great story.
Okay, see, I have this problem with that podcast. I'll start listening to it on the way to work,
right?
And I'll listen to it like 10, 15 minutes at a time, and then I get halfway through the episode and like a new episode will come out, and I'll listen to like half of it. So I never finish like half the episodes. I'm halfway or 3/4 of the way through a bunch of them because I think I'm halfway through that episode. But they've got Greg Daniels on the show. They have Phil Shea, the prop master they talk about all the time, has been on it, and Rainn Wilson's been. It's great.
Anyway, Rob Riggle.
Yes, but yeah, that's. The first episode's out. You can watch it on demand.
So it's serious at all, or is it all?
It is.
Like there's factual information going on.
It's not just him clowning around. I mean, he's Rob Riggle, yes, but
so it's not a spoof of these kind of.
But he's also in real life. He's a pretty serious guy. He was in the military a long time.
I for that type of show, I thought it was pretty good, and to have some star power to it, which they normally don't. In that type of show, but he has experts on there, goes and talks to local experts, at least on the first episode. I liked it, so yeah, I watched that. I've been trying to catch up on Modern Family because I'm way behind. It's the last season.
I think I'm all caught up, but
they
haven't had a new episode for a little while, and they're going to finish out the last season. Here
I'm glad they haven't had one for a while because I'm trying to catch up through it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with especially sitcoms that have been on for a decade or more,
the magic trick they performed the first 5 years has worn out its welcome.
Yeah.
So this last couple seasons is very tired, but I'm a completionist.
I'm trying to finish it. Yeah.
I loved that show when it came out.
And that's how I got. Yeah, I got behind because I loved that show for a really long time. But then last year and this year, I get behind, and then I find I still like it, but I want to catch up just to watch them all. Yeah. So. And then, did you have anything on Legends?
I got everything on Legends.
Okay.
Well, let me then, before you go there, I want to say something about something I've been watching for the last couple months at least. I remember I said something to you at one point, is that best endings of series people talk about all the time, and the one that always comes up is 6 Feet Under. And I remember you said, you knew how it ended. I don't know whether you really watched the show or you just knew the ending, but
I've never seen an episode. Right. I know how.
But I made sure I didn't see what it was. It's on Prime. I could watch them all, so I watch. I don't like that show. First off, I want to say it's so dated. It's from the early 2000s, and I just watched 5 seasons of this show to get to this great ending, supposedly. And I got news for you. It ain't great.
Well, I assume to have any effect, you have to have some affection for the show.
I mean, it's not... I actually have trouble finding why it was so loved.
But again, think of it, like this was an era where every night didn't have some great show to watch. Yeah. There was less quality it was competing with.
I mean, it's rough. It's got the guy, I don't know their name. Peter Krause, who was in Parenthood. I liked him in Parenthood. I think that's his name. But, I mean, I didn't know him from, most people probably knew him from 6 Feet Under first, and then, saw him in Parenthood. And it's really all about him. But it's the premise is they run a funeral home. Their dad, Richard Jennings, dies in the first episode. Spoiler, first episode. And it's all about them dealing with it for the rest of the series. And there is some cool things. At the beginning of each episode, someone dies. I mean, that's the cold open. Someone dies. Sometimes it's a rando that you've never seen before, most of the time. And you see some weird way they die. Or they try to fake you out that someone's going to die, and turns out somebody else in the scene dies. And then the screen goes white, and they show their name and their birth and death date. And that is who in the episode is going to be in the funeral home, that they're doing the service for while their lives are revolving around it. Great premise. I love the premise. Occasionally, you're surprised because the person that dies is someone from the cast or whatever, someone, some tertiary there that dies. And that's cool too. But between scenes, often the screen goes white again, and you always feel like it'll go white and you're like, oh no, who died? and then it'll just go to the next scene. Nobody died. Fake out. And they lay that groundwork the whole series to pay off in the last 15 minutes of the final episode. I just feel like they didn't execute it well. I think they had a great idea and did not pull it off that great. So I would say, is it worth watching 5 seasons of television for that? The answer is no. But the idea is cool. It's just, man, like there's some makeup effects they have to do in that last 15 minutes, and it's 20 years old. Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah. Didn't hold up, I guess. Maybe they pulled it off then. Anyway,
did anybody go back and watch any of Hunters on Amazon Prime?
No.
Okay. I did finish it after the last time we recorded. I had 1 episode to go, and it's got a twist ending that it did not need to have ever.
Sounds right.
Which I was kind of, I don't want to say, it didn't ruin it for me, but I binged the show and then finally got to that last episode, and I was like, what could possibly be left? We've done everything we want. They've accomplished what they set out to do, and then it had this really stupid twisted ending.
Yeah. Well, you just convinced me not to watch it.
Why did you do this?
Cliff, how about we do 25 minutes on This Is Us?
Okay. Go.
No. I do want to bring it up only because, did you watch this week's?
I did.
New York?
Yeah.
There's only been 1 episode since we last heard about This Is Us. But they hinted at something towards the end of that episode, and I thought, this show is already jumping through time. Like, they basically go on a trip to New York, and you see 3 different trips to New York.
Yeah.
And all the things that happen, and you see reveals along the way, and that's super cool. It was a good episode. But at one point, I got the hint. I was like, are they going to do something time travel-y? Are they going to do something that is just totally up my alley? And then that's the preview for next week. They are doing...
Oh, I didn't watch the preview.
Yeah. They're doing an alternate reality.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm going to say it because nobody watches the show anyway that listens to us. But if they do, they're caught up.
Right.
The whole premise, him arguing with Randall and Kevin.
Right.
And Randall thinks he should have saved his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end, they show Randall standing outside and saying what he wants to say.
Right.
And saying, if you go in there, I'm going in after you.
Yeah.
And so the dad doesn't go in.
Yeah.
And he lives.
And he
next episode is What If He Lived.
Okay. I like it.
I love it. I was like, that's the kind of stuff that I want to see.
Yeah. Well, see, that last episode it wasn't very long, but it was the first glimpse we got of like the 1950s.
Yeah.
Right. Starts out, and
so what are we going to get from then?
Right. That's what I was like. Oh, I want to see that timeline, because we were watching, Alicia and I were watching it, and it starts out, this little girl, she's staring at the painting, and I'm immediately looking in the background.
That was the great twist of that. This little girl is in a museum where there's art on the walls, and she's looking at something, and you think she's looking at the painting.
Right. That was
what a great reveal. When she's not looking at the painting.
But I was like, oh, that's Rebecca. This is, and Alicia's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, look around, look at what they're wearing. I'm picking out all that stuff. Yeah. And but that was definitely the first glimpse we've done with that. But yeah, it had a really neat.
Guys, it's a good show.
It's a good show.
Okay. Legend this baby up.
All right.
Well, we've only talked about the crossover episode, the Crisis.
Really?
That was the premiere of season 5.
Holy cow!
So there's been 7 total episodes of season 5. So how are you enjoying the encore idea?
So since the I got thoughts on that. Since the crossover, all the shows, at least, I don't want to say all because I haven't watched all of them, but The Flash and Legends have new intros.
Yeah, they're kind of stylish.
I like the Legends one.
It looks kind of comic
It's got a
booky.
theme song. Yeah. It fits the show more appropriately, I feel like. It's kind of... It almost kind of... The the theme they use almost kind of reminds me of that Buffy the Vampire.
Yeah, it's kind of a fast guitar song. Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah. So it starts out with like Meet the Legends or what. I remember the title.
Yeah,
I don't remember
episode
what
2 was the mockumentary. It was like because after Crisis, they were celebrities.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it used to be these are the heroes no one would miss. They can go through time. Who cares?
And that right there, I think, is my problem with this whole season. That's what I enjoyed. They were offbeat. I mean, they're still weirdo characters, but they were known characters, hero characters, but they were always like B, C, D listers that nobody noticed they were gone. I like that premise.
So the new reality of the post-crisis reality, they are known and they are celebrities.
I don't like that so much.
They are such celebrities that famous YouTubers watch them and react to them every week. So the episode began with Blind Wave.
Yeah.
I want to say fellow podcasters, but not really. They're from Marietta, Ohio, just like us. Mm-hmm. They're a little bit bigger than we are, have a little bit bigger audience, but they were actually in this episode. You saw a shot of Eric and Aaron reacting, quote unquote, to this show to show how famous these characters are now, that YouTube people react to them. So people who react to the fake show, they put in the fake show reacting like it was a real show. So I was shocked by seeing someone I know on a show I like. That was weird. So the first one, 1917 Russia, and we get Rasputin. So we learned at the end of last season that all these famous evil people, their souls were released from hell,
right? So
to go cause chaos. So the first one we see is Rasputin in Russia. Constantine gets mixed up with that because the girl he let get taken to hell, Astra, has kind of worked her way up the hierarchy, and she's out for revenge against John. But John has a new intern, Gary. Gary is helping him out, and he has Constantine's business card, and he holds it up, and the camera could see it. And it had an actual phone number on it. I called the actual phone number. Someone told me to.
Yeah.
And there was a voice on the other end of Gary saying, "You've reached, the offices of John Constantine. If you have a supernatural emergency." And then you hear John in the background yelling. I'm like, "Gary, get off the phone." Yeah. So you got a little real world.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was the episode. Also had the quote, "Sometimes what happens on this ship really would be hard for an audience to follow." So another meta joke of what is even going on. Episode 3 was from Los Angeles, 1947. Bugsy Siegel and an enchanted gun. We see Zari again, who had been erased from our memory.
Yeah.
Fixing or saving the timeline. Erased her.
Yeah, and she was replaced by her brother.
Her brother is on the team. Yeah. So Zari is a social media influencer with 51 million followers. We also got a scene of Ava drunkenly singing Belle Biv DeVoe. That girl was poison.
That was the best part of the episode. Anytime you can work in some Belle Biv DeVoe.
Episode 4, we're in Central City. 1989 flashback and 2004, the prom night slasher Freddie Myers.
Mm-hmm.
The best part of that episode, this was Mick. We get Mick's high school.
They go back. It's Mick's school, and somebody he went to school with is the serial killer.
So they're trying to save, if they can stop him from being humiliated on prom night in 1989. He won't have grown into a serial killer in 2004. We're going to change history and make this kid's life a little better. But you learn that Ava is a huge serial killer fan, and she has her own podcast called Stabcast, where she talks about serial killers. And my favorite line was Nate. It's like, "Oh, what's your podcast?" And Nate starts listening to it. He's like, "Hold on, I got to go buy a mattress." So, lesser podcasts have advertising like that, but Nate was very susceptible and had to go buy a mattress.
I like that episode, though. And, like, Rory, Mick, he gets, like, burnt.
Yeah. To a crisp.
Yeah.
The next episode, 1793 in France, and Marie Antoinette. That gave someone the opportunity to say, "Yas, Queen." We got Astra's mom. This is the girl who Constantine failed, and we learn a little more about John's past. We got a reference to Mucous Membrane, the punk band he was in, which is a reference to way back in the day of the Vertigo comics. So a little more of that, the group he ran with in his younger wild days, who were all like amateur mystics and magicians, and how badly he screwed that up. Episode 6, 1997 in Hong Kong, and Genghis Khan. So this episode was directed by Katie Lotz, which she hasn't really been in the last few episodes. She's had a very minimal
it's
presence.
kind of been everybody. I kind of feel like they're focusing on certain characters this year, because I wrote down just under Legends, where the hell is Mick in most of these episodes?
They just kind of say, "Oh, Mick's not participating."
He's
this
my
time.
favorite character on the show, and we are doing nothing with him.
He's just off on his own.
They wrote the
world.
the Were-Girl off because she became Rebecca Silver, right? And she was going to write.
Oh, right.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So that's why she's gone. He has passed on the baton to write those books, which was his whole storyline last year.
Yeah.
And now it's like they have no idea what to do.
They bring him in for 1 or 2 scenes an episode. I wonder if Katie Lotz, if she out filming whatever this new Green Arrow show is going to be, or are they setting, because usually when someone disappears from a show, it's because they're filming a part of the crossover or something. It's usually pretty obvious. So her first time directing, she takes this is set in Hong Kong, so she has a very John Woo vibe, where one of the first scenes, a white dove flies across them in slow motion. There's somebody with twin guns, leaping through the air like a John Woo movie. There's a Mexican standoff, those early 90s, Hong Kong action flicks. It just took all her motivation from there. And we learned John had cancer, so they knew he has like 10 years left to live on his clock. The mystical stuff in hell, you can see your time span basically, and somebody cranked it up where he's going to die. 10 years worth of cancer is going to kill him in like the next hour. So they basically they're going to end his life, and they tease the famous storyline. It was the movie, the
Constantine movie.
Was the Constantine? What's his name?
Keanu
Reeves. The story Dangerous Habits, where John has to trick an alien or an angel and a demon, not an alien, an angel and a demon, and they each get claim to his soul, and it's a cool double cross that he does with heaven and hell. And it's they kind of teased it because he's like, "Gabriel, get down here." It's like, "Oh, they're gonna do it," and then they didn't. So I was a little bit disappointed, but you don't need to do the same plot line again from the one piece of pop culture most people know him from. But Genghis Khan riding a scooter named Scoots.
That really was the takeaway from that episode.
So the Mongol hordes, you imagine them on horses, but no horses. They're all on electric scooters.
Yeah,
and of course someone got to yell Khan, and we learned that Charlie is one of the 3 fates of Greek mythology. So she had the loom of fate. She abandoned her duty as the fate, and dispersed them to the multiverse, so no one could ever reassemble it. So now Crisis has created one universe, so now they're all back in our universe.
The same Earth.
So her 2 sisters are going to want to reassemble the loom of fate and make her go back to work that she doesn't want to do.
I really wish they would have, when they killed off Vixen, they would have just let that actress go.
It seemed like they're trying too hard to come up with a reason to have her stick around, but
it's doing nothing for me. And I wrote down, I think it was the next episode. There was one more, right?
Episode 7's the most recent one for us, Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had the very Mr. Rogers-like episode in an episode. and I wrote down puppets again because Sarah and Ava, they have they wrote in a way to reuse the puppets from a few versions of themselves from a few episodes ago. But just overall, I've been disappointed by this year. I think we need to change the cast up again and get some more.
It seems to be where we're headed.
Yeah. Because for those that, in the last episode, Ray and Nora end up getting married. They've been written, basically, they're getting written off the show.
So she is Damien Dark's daughter, Neil McDonough, who was a villain in previous seasons. This episode, he's the encore that comes back from hell. And he's like cheesing it up for the first half hour, like playing it really broadly. And then like he gets scary. There's a few minutes where he was like terrifying again. And then by the end, he kind of had mellowed out a little bit. So he basically tells Ray he needs to leave the team.
Yeah.
So there's some article this week I saw. Brandon Routh was on a podcast or an interview somewhere where he kind of said he didn't like how this all went down.
Yeah.
That he was not real happy with him being shown the door. I'm paraphrasing, but
and I don't dislike him. Like if there was somebody I was going to keep, I'd keep Sarah, I would keep Ray, and I would keep Mick, and everybody else can kind of go about your business.
Which that's been the fun of this episode, bringing in new people and replacing the old people.
So yeah, just as a general, I don't know, the characters. It started last year. I just wish we would have a little bit more well-known characters and focus on them more as superheroes, and that they do have abilities, and they're like, we've completely forgotten that.
Yeah, you pointed out before none of them ever use their powers.
No, I mean Nathaniel, he's steel, and I think we've used that effect one time,
maybe once or twice
for 2 seconds. It's just like you've completely forgotten who these characters are. So,
but to me, there's still something fun every episode. I still like
it's enough
the
to keep me watching it. Still, yeah, definitely.
And the other important detail, there was an internet troll attacking the Rebecca Silver books, and Mick finds out it's his daughter, Lita, named for the Lita Ford concert,
of course,
where she was conceived. So he kind of like mind wipes them and walks away and says they don't need me in their life. Like that's some drama,
right?
So
that's not going to come back or anything.
So yeah, I'm assuming if they want to write him off the show too, I don't know.
No, well, I just read the other day he said he's staying.
Oh, okay.
So, but Brandon Routh might have said that too. So who knows?
So, yeah, I know this show, there are fewer episodes of this one being produced than all the other CW shows. So we're probably about half over with the season already.
Yeah, it generally doesn't start till like January, I think, or something. So, anyways, yeah, TV. Oh, one more thing. Seth, have you watched any of Clone Wars yet?
Nope.
Okay, never mind.
You can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. We're only 3 episodes in, I think. Maybe 4.
Okay. Is it good?
It is good.
That'll convince me more to watch it.
No, it actually is good. So far this season, the focus is more... it's very clone... a core group of clone troopers heavy.
Yeah.
So...
That's good stuff, then.
Yeah, I like that part of it. So, misfit clones.
Right.
So, anyways...
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Oh, wait, I got to reveal a winner.
No,
we all secretly voted, and we unanimously decided that the winner is us. Thank you to all 3 of our patrons.
What a twist.
Really, I wanted to let everybody know, if you're not a patron, you're missing out on some fairly vanilla content that we're putting out. I'm putting a lot of our private messages from our messenger between the 3 of us that we do daily. And I just thought, I'll put some screenshots of things. I've got tons of them, and just... some funny, some not that funny, or some clairvoyant when we predict things that happen later. But anyway, a little bit of content to put to you guys who do so much for us and helping defer the costs of getting this out on your pod players. So thank you very much. Thank you to Christian for being out there, patronizing George's store, delivering food to people in the middle of a crisis. You know, people are going to really appreciate getting that and pushing the Lord's work.
Yes.
Thank you to Jesse, who's been there from the beginning and is always there for us. And can't wait to have you on the show again. Can't wait to have Justin on the show again, who's got us this board, is constantly helping us get this stuff out.
Did we ever mention the microphone top?
Oh man, he might have got over the edge with the microphone toppers. That was good.
Yeah.
So just thanks to all you guys, and we hope let us know, comment on our page, and tell us anything you want us to do or quit doing. And we won't listen, but we like comments.
But you can get it out there.
Well, this took a real sweet turn. Bless your heart. I liked all of that. Thank you, everyone. Can't say it any better than that. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Goodbye forever.
You're listening to Ka-Pow.
Damn it.
Episode 206. You played the wrong TV button.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udamwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, please sign up to be a patron through the Podbean app or our website, www.udamwithkpp.com, to receive special content and early access to some episodes. We are grateful to anyone that chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will always remain free, so please continue to like, comment, and share.